There we go. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Once again, a week later. See if we're live. We are live. Cool. All right, let's start then. Awesome. So, everybody, probably I see one viewer is here, so not everybody is in here, but if that one viewer could tell me what they did over the week, in short, you don't have to write it out in detail. I can already probably tell who that one viewer is, but you can still leave a comment in the chat about how your week was. I'll have to actually open LinkedIn because I don't know if my chat will want to work with me today. Looks like it's working, but we'll see. Just in case, I'll have it open on another tab. Uh, and let's see. Here, and good function. There we go. Cool. Or yeah, okay, yeah. There we go. Awesome. Well, anyways, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to my weekly reflection again. I started doing these every week, every Sunday, at around the same time 2 weeks ago. Figured it was a good idea because everybody wants to. Well, I don't know if everybody wants to know, but uh, from my experience of meeting people and everything, a lot of people like to know. A lot of people are interested in my journey. They're always like, from my meetings and everything, they tell me like, oh, like they admire what I do and that I started young and all of that type of stuff. So I decided, why not? I'll just double down on this platform because, you know, people are older on here. I mean, and not in a bad sense, of course. I mean, nothing but respect, of course. I like to learn and everything. So that knowledge comes with age, obviously, and I'm 19, so I can still learn, soak up a lot of information from these from these professionals who have been in their respective fields for sometimes even 30, 40 years. So I'm glad to be on here early, and um, I realized it early, thanks to my dad, who's probably in the chat currently. Anyways, so yeah, so people like to learn about me from at least my experience. I mean, I when I started doing, like, for example, the casual chats, I didn't think anybody would want to, well, not that they would not want to meet with me, but um, that I would not have anything to say to them because like, what was I gonna say to as a 19-year-old to a bunch of you know people, like a guy put this perfectly. Like he said, I admire that you can walk into a room at 19 that's full of people with gray hair. So yeah. So in that sense, like, what was I going to say to them? And apparently, I had a lot to say because my uh, couple of meetings were like, just me telling about my journey and how much I've done on YouTube and all of that stuff. So, and everybody was interested in it. So I'm glad that that was the case. And so now I do these, uh, you know, reflections, I guess. Anyways, so let's get into it now. Yeah, I don't have a structure for this. I typically just go, but I'll start off with the news that happened this week, and they're pretty big news. In the world of AI, I do AI and tech, so sorry, just keep having something on the back of my throat. Should be good. Okay, so news. The first headline is, I'll actually try and search it up. Let's see. I already had it. Oh, wait, no. Let's do. Come on. News. Which one did I have there? Here it is, I think. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, I'll share this. And this one. There we go. So, that's the first one. Google drops AI weapons ban. And it was interesting to me because I was like, what is this? Where is this going? This is pretty realistic, of course. Is it visible? Let's see. Yeah, it's visible. Okay. So, yeah, this is pretty. Need your newsletter. This is pretty accurate. So what happened was that in their AI policies, or what is it called, like AI principles, they have a website dedicated to AI principles where they outline what they're going to do and what they're not going to do with AI. And they had this section like what they're not going to do specifically, and there was like, development of weapons to harm people, surveillance, those types of things. Well, they deleted that section. And it was recent, and so, 4 days ago, about, right? I think, yeah, 4 days ago. Anyways, so, that was interesting to me, so I decided to make a video about it, because, like, where is this headed to, right? When you don't have any, like, these sort of guidelines. So that means they're probably going to start possibly building weapons with it. Sorry, no comments yet. Cool. But we have 2 viewers on LinkedIn, but that's probably me and my dad on another phone. All right. Well, so yeah, so they're going to start building likely weapons, but people might say, "Oh, that's terrible," like something like that. It is, geez, who would want? Why would we want to build weapons with AI or fuse with AI or whatever? Well, I decided to make a video, and in the video, I said I decided to play the devil's advocate, and I'll say right now, um, other countries, including our adversaries, are already doing this, and many are pursuing probably more reckless means of doing this, because they don't have as much government regulation as we have in the United States. Regulation can sometimes be good or bad, or depending on what it is, of course. I mean, AI regulation, um, it's still a new field, so there's not too much of it, but still, it's in the United States, at least, I feel like it always develops more quality stuff. So just put it that way. And so other countries are already doing this, and so we should be pursuing this too. And at least Google can do it, hopefully somewhat responsibly. That's why I said somewhat responsibly in the video, but I added like a little pop-up that said hopefully, because you truly don't know if Google is actually going to be doing that, or if they're going to just pursuing shit. Sorry. That just popped up on me and played sound. Okay, never mind. Yeah, so people might, like I said, people might think, oh, this is terrible, but I say it's terrible, but it's needed. So yeah, because it's the future, and AI is not really going anywhere, since it's already getting pretty much funded by the government, as well, for its military purposes and stuff like that. And tying into that was the second headline, actually, which, well, chronologically was the first headline that occurred earlier in the week, and it is there. That's it. I'll share this tab. There we go. Another good one. Yeah, that was January 31st. That was more than a week ago. Anyways, OpenAI strikes deal with U.S. government to use its AI for nuclear weapons security. Yeah. Now, I'll say I disagree with this more than using it for weapons, because handing over like security, right, or nuclear weapon security to AI, to hallucinating AI, well, exactly what the subheadline says, So that's why I kind of made my video about. I named it "Skynet is Born," and I just talked about, like, oh yeah, well, 15,000 scientists are now going to be working, on this. They're going to be working on implementing one of OpenAI's models into the Venado supercomputer in Los Alamos, and they're going to be using that for nuclear weapons safety and stuff like that. So, yeah, there it is. And also help, quote, with a comprehensive program in nuclear security. So, where does that lead to? I don't know. If they keep developing it, it might happen. It might so happen that they'll just hand over the keys to AI, something like what happened in Terminator, right? When I actually put the clip from Terminator 2 in there, cut it up a little bit, and it was, like Skynet received funding, and then Skynet was given all these different permissions and it progressed, and then eventually human controls were taken away from nuclear weapons and just handed over to Skynet. So I just definitely hope that that's never going to happen. Not in the state that AI is currently in, and probably not ever. There should always be a fail safe, not just like, oh yeah, we hand it over and we kind of trust it. We kind of trust several thousands of nuclear warheads that we have stored up in in the north western United States and stuff like that, and all over the place actually. So I wouldn't. No, that's a bad idea. That's a really that would just end up really bad. Of course. Well, I mean, you don't know that, but I wouldn't even want to test it because you can only be wrong once in that scenario, and if you are wrong, then it's the end of the world. Long story short. Okay, we're still live. Okay, so awesome. I'm not sure. Okay, so since I didn't hear, okay, they can hear me. Let's check my sound if I'm heard. Okay, but probably yes. Yeah. So yeah, they're gonna get $340 billion. OpenAI will get $340 billion in funding. So yeah, it's gonna be fun to see where it leads to now in 2025. But I just hope this is the step it stays at, not any what's it called? Not any further. And I'll actually show you the YouTube short episode that I did on it because maybe I'll give you a preview. You can go check out the Google one. Let's see, shorts. No, wait, that's not my shorts. I already did. Oh, dang, I just saw something. Come on, load up. There we go. Okay, and then Skynet. I was surprised because the video, at first it just got almost nothing. I mean, barely anything. It got what? Forgot how much it was. 10. I just got a message, a private message. Anyways, so here. I'll just play this and then I'll do whatever. Okay. No, I forgot what I wanted to say. Yeah, so it got only like 20 views at first, and then it kind of went off. Not like skyrocketed, but it was interesting to see. It was just like for the first day, it got nothing, and then it suddenly like just went to like 700. But that's where it stayed, and it's interesting because it also had a pretty good view rate and average percentage viewed and everything, and it also had a pretty big engagement number, and it had 37 likes for 800 views, which is a lot because there was another video that I did that had 700 and only had like more than half of that. So it was interesting to see. Anyway, so share the tab instead, and then I'm gonna play it.
Skynet is born. 15,000 scientists from the U.S. National Laboratories have just started to deploy one of OpenAI's models into the Venado supercomputer in Los Alamos. And what will they be using it for? Yep, you guessed it, it's enhancing nuclear weapon safety. I'm sorry, I think I'm having a flashback.
Skynet funding bill is passed. Human decisions are removed from strategic defense. In a panic, they try to pull the plug.
Skynet fights back.
Yes. It launches its missiles against the targets in Russia.
I get that Terminator 2 is an old movie, but it did have a lot of good points because why would we start automating nuclear weapon safety? And worse, handing it to hallucinating AI. What do you think? Should we hand over our nuclear...
Yeah. What do you think? You can let me know in the comments on LinkedIn now. Yeah. Okay. That's gonna be quite a bunch of things again. Okay, it's still going. Cool. All right. So let's see. Okay, so I'll say right now that that video is obviously just kind of jokes, but if they decide to develop it, it could become reality, but we'll see. Anyways, so now I wanted to transition into a less newsy, like a mainstream news, and more much my personal developments and news as promised in the description. So, where to start? Oh yeah, so last week I actually met with a guy, and he gave me like an invitation to a thing that's called Lunch Club. Yeah, Lunch Club. Yeah, it's just called lunchclub.com. And you can sign up there, and it's basically, not sure if viewers are familiar. Basically, like you just, oh, I just saw something flash. Okay, never mind. I hope that didn't. We'll see. Anyways, so it's called Omegle. Well, that's not called Omegle, but Omegle was the platform where you just, met with random people, just complete randos, whatever. And man, this does make sense. Okay, never mind. And you just went on there and met with like say 50 strangers, and you just skip whatever, talk with them. So this is basically Omegle, but it is professional Omegle, in that you have to like create a profile, share your interests, select times you want to meet. I have actually 2 slots reserved on what is it, Thursdays and Saturdays is when I have them reserved. And it's just professional Omegle, and you have to give them your LinkedIn profile and that stuff, all your like any other possible different social media channels you might have. And you just then they have like a machine learning thing where you just are like, you go home and then you can just click like, oh, would you like to meet with this guy? I'll actually show you a little what's it called, a little demo here really quick, if it can load. If it not, there we go. Okay, hurry up, there we go. Sure. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. Lunch Club, then you have home, then you have the calendar one set up and that type of stuff. So would you like to meet someone like this person? And then she is this business owners. Not necessarily I've met with a lot of people like this, so let's say just no. As dear, things, yeah. So you see, so that's how it just works. It works like, and you can just do yes, no, and then it match makes you basically like that. And then in meetings, I have it set up like this. Those are my upcoming matches. They typically actually let you know like a day before, which is, I don't know, well, the week of. So it's not like in advance. So, and you can also skip stuff like that. Anyway, so he introduced me to that, and it was kind of cool because I met with a lady I started that on Thursday. On Thursday was my first meeting. She was nice. That's my connections, and yeah, she has a cool story. And then I was supposed to meet on Saturday with somebody, but she said that she had the flu, and so we did not meet that day. And no, I don't mind it. It's okay. I'm not going to judge anybody because of their illness, of course. So yeah. And then what else happened? So what else? What other meetings did I have? Let's see. Let me kind of stimulate my brain. Here. Who is this? Then I also had. Oh yeah. From one meeting, I also had. I might actually make another post about that. I was on Tuesday, and he told me, "Oh, yeah." It was like he lives in Chicago in Highland Park, and we were talking about different things related to video, and also we talked about what he did. He does like he hires. Well, no, he's a talent acquisition basically, and he goes to events and says, "Hey, I can get you a professional speaker," and he does that. And we talked about a lot of like how to tell your story and stuff like that. So and that storytelling is of course important in business ownership because it tells people the story of your brand. So yeah, and we talked about that, and he told me, oh yeah, because I live in Bloomington. And so he told me actually that he had like a company that had an event here near me, and said that they might need like a what would you call it, like a videographer basically. And but I would need like better equipment, and that might be like all the way in May. So we'll see how that works out. But still, it's a possible a possible business, not a deal, what would you call it, like a possible it's the word completely lose me now. uh you know Possible money. I'll just put it this way: possible money. That's the only thing I can express that way, express right now. So now, yeah, so that was that. And then I had another meeting, and that was not there. It was on Thursday. Yeah, that was lunch club. I had that. And then, yeah, that was actually Friday. And I had another meeting with, I actually made a post about that. His name is Nikhil Vaish, and we were talking about, he owns a Boost Solo, and basically it's podcast. Oh, he's got another message. Possible opportunity. Yeah, there you go. Possible opportunities. what I was offered. There you go. And Nikhil Vaish, he actually invited me into his Boost Solo podcast, and on there he, you know, invites solopreneurs and who then tell their story. And he has this like whole thing where he creates courses and teaches solopreneurs and business owners in general too, how to tell the story properly, tell their story. And that storytelling, of course, again, is important. So 2 meetings this week that told me that storytelling is important to your business. And when I told him my story and everything, we actually we actually aligned in one place, and that he lived in Prague, my hometown, back in the 70s. He went to like a French school there or something like that. So that was cool. Good to know. He actually said some phrases. He said like, I forgot what context. He said Karlovy Vary, which is a city, and then he said, like, hello and how are you and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool to hear again from a completely I would say a stranger, of course, who I haven't met before, but it's also kind of, he's not even from the Czech Republic, and he speaks Czech, so it's a little bit, so it's kind of cool. So that was cool, and so he invited me into his podcast. We have a pre-podcast meeting on the 19th, and then after that, we might record that episode soon thereafter. But yeah, he said he liked my story, and we'll just in the pre-podcast he probably ask me like a couple of questions about that, and yeah, I'll see how I formulate it, but it should be fine. And then what else? Okay. Then yesterday, of course, actually, yeah, just yesterday we delayed it by 1 day, but I had another recording session of the West LA Coding Podcast with Chris Jaramillo, who yeah, we do. This is our I want to say, okay, I'm just out of it now. 3rd episode, of course, it's the 3rd episode of our podcast, and we talked about a whole bunch of stuff that actually ran longer. It was supposed to be 30 to 40 minutes, and it ended up being an hour. So an hour and more, actually. Just talked about a lot of topics. I'll actually listen back to it once he has it done, and I'll think about more. I'll just brainstorm topics from that for the next episode. And we talked about a lot of, again, AI applications from a consumer standpoint. It's just that all that sort of stuff, and how to solve some problems and issues people have every day that aren't yet where AI isn't yet used and could be used and could facilitate the processes. I also talked about at least how it would affect my video production and everything. I would like to have, I told him actually, and he laughed at it. I said, hey, I would like to have a sort of a Clippy sort of figure in Adobe Premiere Pro, because that would help me a lot. Because, for example, you might have like an animation or a couple of like that, like a motion graphic or something like that, and maybe like a lot of keyframes or something might be cluttered, and then Clippy or something like that would show up and be like, hey, we can delete a couple of these keyframes, and it would just run smoother or something. And I'll be like, yeah, okay, sure. And they'll just delete the keyframes automatically, and maybe even like, because it would be AI powered, it would explain what it did and why it did it, and stuff like that. So that would be kind of a cool thing that Adobe already has AI in that sort of sense, like Adobe Firefly, and you can have you can use it in Photoshop and create some cool images with it. But it's not like in this sort of uh, personalized sense just yet. So that'll be interesting to see once the AI kind of permeates that space more and more. But I'll definitely enjoy it. I would be willing to pay for it if it's like a reasonable price, like $10 to $15 a month. I would be willing to pay because that can really help. But up until then, I'm still not going to be using any sort of AI in my videos. I tried it, and it can be, I don't know. You have no control over what it does necessarily. You just don't have anything. You don't have the project in front of you. You can't edit it. You can't edit the captions like what it makes. So you just have to hand it over to it and kind of have to be at the mercy of it. Or if at some point they'll make an AI that's specifically that reads out specifics and everything. Like you could tell it very like a list of stuff you want in the video, and then it would be, oh yeah, it creates everything. That'd be a cool thing. I would probably not pay for that, but we would see. Even better if Adobe made it like a free add-on or something like that, because I'm already paying like $35 a month to them, so it would be kind of courteous of them, at the very least, to give us that for maybe free, maybe $5 a month or something like that. But it'd be cool. Anyways, okay, well, and then so we had that. Then I had right after the podcast recording, we had a live stream with my dad where we talked about a lot of stuff. I'll just put it that way. You can go watch it on his account. His name is the same as mine, except without the IV, without the 4. So that's him, and yeah, you can just check it out. You'll see. I entered at about 1 hour into it or something like that. Anyways, and then one more thing. Well, 2 more things. I also am working on also made a post about that actually. I'm also working on a long form for my channel. I actually won't be the star of it. My dad will be the star because it's an edit of a live stream that he did a couple of weeks ago now, I think. Maybe like a week and a half ago or something like that. No, wait. Maybe 2. I forgot. 2 weeks or... It was not last week, I know that, but it was like 2 weeks ago. Anyway, so we just decided because he did... Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago, actually, because he made a... what was it called? Like a remix, a refresh of Chris's first podcast banner, like for the first episode. So he created a new one, and it looks nice. So and that's why that's why I decided to take it and then make a long form with it of how he did it in Canva and how some tips along that and that type of stuff. So I'm excited to be releasing it soon because, well, I mean, I've been working on it. I had it cut up by Thursday, then I was working on it on Friday, but unfortunately I don't know, yesterday I couldn't work on it too much because I was on LinkedIn, but I did work on it a little bit. Today I'm just going to be working on schoolwork because there's a lot of it before tomorrow and Tuesday, and then Tuesday finally I will either finish it or be very, very close to finishing it. So by Wednesday I should be good to go on that. So by Wednesday it should come out. And then one last thing, my dad also created a new, what should I call it, like a group page, whatever. He created actually both a group and a company page. It's called Social Media Sojourn. Now, I'm not sure like how many people know what a sojourn is, a SOJOURN, sojourn. But he likes medieval stuff, and so it kind of fits with that whole brand. I'll show you the definition actually. It's real fast because we already past 30 minutes. Come on. I'm actually glad I could fit everything here. A temporary stay, basically, just a stay, basically a temporary stay for a tip. He doesn't want to create like a permanent support thing, whatever. It's just like a group where you stay for the what's it called? A stay for the advice. Like you just sit down over, be that tea, coffee, beer, whatever, and you just exchange a couple ideas or something like that. That's the idea of it. And so that's, I kind of like that, and for him I like that because he does that medieval stuff, and Sojourns, those are typically a lot of medieval. Uh, that's a lot of medieval themes included in that, and Sojourns were big during medieval times, and even before that, during medieval times, and just a little bit afterwards. Not so much. I mean, you call a hotel a sojourn, I guess, but it's not like a place where you it's typically like a place, I guess, with what would you call it, a stay and a bar, or like a pub or something like that. That's like everything all together. And so that's kind of cool. He thought about making it a guild, but again, a guild would imply some sort of either a hierarchy or what would it be called? It would imply a hierarchy, and it would imply also that there's like a permanent kind of membership or something like that. But come and go as you please in a sojourn, and everybody's pretty much equal because there's no guild masters or something. It's just everybody's a kind of a sojourner, if you put it that way. So cool. I fit everything into 32 minutes, and I'm glad for that. So now I shall be leaving because I have a lot of stuff to do. And I'll see you again on Sunday, next Sunday in a week around the same time. Actually, no, at the same time. I'll probably create the page now, or maybe in a couple of days. We'll see. Anyways, so thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed my third weekly reflection. Feel free to leave the comments of what you thought of it, some feedback. I'll gladly adjust. I listen to feedback, trust me. So especially on LinkedIn, because a lot of people are older, more experienced professionals. So yeah, message me or leave a comment. So yeah, again, thank you for listening, and I'll see you on 11 a.m. So 12 p.m. Eastern time next Sunday. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Almost forgot to mention, enjoy the Super Bowl. And yes,